We are Imagine Lethbridge. We have been functioning in Lethbridge probably over the last 3 to 5 years, just having kitchen table conversations about what it is that Imagine Lethbridge could do. So the first one that I want to share with you is definitely just some shots of Lethbridge. Lethbridge is in a province, one of 10 provinces in Canada, and the third largest city in our province with a population of 106,000. So when I hear about Tansy and you're talking about your neighborhoods, we're probably even smaller than the areas that you were speaking about. And that is one of the reasons that we decided that we would do this from a perspective of the entire city. We also looked at it as being a city of systems and so relatable to that, but also even our surrounding area. It's a catchment area that serves over 200,000 people. It's a commercial service and agricultural hub. We have a privilege to have a large a university as well as a polytechnic institution here, and also the research station for agriculture. We are very privileged to live as a neighbor to the Kainai Nation, which is a large indigenous population, and also from another one called Pakani. We're 1 hour from the Rocky Mountains. Very multicultural. Lethbridge has been identified as one of the top 10 cities to immigrate to in Canada. So as we move along and made our way, we've started to become a little more organized and have identified what our vision is for Lethbridge. And our vision is to be the healthiest city in Canada, in which people can live, thrive, and age well. So our values, we spent a fair amount of time doing that, and because we wanted to ensure that we were grounded in not only the research, not only in the process, not only in what we anticipated our outcomes to be, but also that we wanted to make sure that we were community driven. This is from community. It started out as grassroots, and we want that to continue. That we were really focused on the health and well-being. And I'm not talking about physical health. I'm talking about the health of a community that thrives. We wanted to be inclusive because we have such a diverse population. Also compassionate. We have quite a spectrum we do have poverty in our community, and we want to be compassionate to the needs of people that are more vulnerable. We are also future focused, but economically sustainable and environmentally responsible as well. So our plan now is to develop a city portrait. Our city portrait, and we're just in the embryonic stages compared to the previous presenters, based on community input, on data and the metrics, but the storytelling. And we want to clarify our identity as a community and as a city. Our next step was we wanted to ensure what a city portrait is and also what it is not. So we held a large community forum. You'll see the picture here that really strengthened local knowledge and mobilizing action. And so we saw the community portrait as a very collaborative process. And we want to map. It's a point in time how our city is doing today and what the community will tell us about the aspirations that they have for the future. It's going to be a community-led process. We anticipate it to be holistic, quantitative and quantitative aspects of our local life. And we've been able to partner with some significant opportunities that will provide a lot of the quantitative through demographics and the economic data, and they're willing to share that information with us as we create that portrait. But also knowing that it is our neighborhoods and it's our business community that will create this snapshot in time. We will use the Doughnut framework, both social, ecological, but we know that we want to be a thriving place, but with that we have global responsibilities, both from a social and an ecological perspective. We want to consider the complex interconnections that do exist in our community, and a portrait of today will result in a vision for 2050. We then wanted to make sure that we didn't overstep. and wanted to make sure that what the city portrait will not be. It's not a government report. It's not a demographic report. It's not for a promotion perspective brochure or marketing document. It's not an artistic project, although we hope we'll have lots of artisans involved with it. And it's not an outsider's interpretation of what our city is. It's not to be a plan that sits on the shelf, but is dynamic and ever changing. Not led by one group alone and does not replace other plans or policy, but we want to enhance and strengthen those. So we're thinking specifically, one of the things is our municipal development plan. And our goal is to be able to help inform the priorities that are outlined by those themes. So it's not a demographic report, and we will be identifying our indicators, and those indicators are grounded in the community forums that we've held. So our role as leaders is really about sounding out the ideas, and really this is a community development initiative. We want to make sure that it's participatory in process of mapping and narrating Lethbridge's social, economic, and environmental features. Highlighting its role is starting to surface. We're starting to identify shared values. We want to make sure that we have the stories and aspirations and ensuring representation from diverse stakeholders, right from children and youth right up to our elderly population, as well as the inclusion of the multicultural community that we live in. We want to integrate those priorities then to inform our system improvements that are going to be required and celebrate the identification and the action and the outcomes. Leaders are vital. Leaders support, share insights, encourage engagement, and champion the outcomes. One of my learnings and our learnings has been, don't ask the question if you're not prepared to respond. So we're really keeping that in mind. And do we have the systems in place that we do have the ability to respond? And we will definitely champion the outcomes. So how are we going to do that? We have a steering committee that is very robust, and that's the Robust Foundation. And that is what we are working towards, just to give you an idea of the alignment with our vision and the community engagement and participation and overseeing those roles and responsibilities. What we did have was a community forum as we're preparing for the initiating Doughnut economy in Lethbridge, is that we also have a community advisory group. So you can see here the advisory group is on the outer circle, the steering committee is in the center, and those are all the elements that will inform the work that we do today. So the bottom line really is to incorporate the Doughnut model into our municipal development plan so that the health and well-being of people and the planet are at the core of every decision we make as a community. It's about breaking down those silos that exist between departments, organizations, so that we're all pulling in the same direction. And we're very excited about the networks that are starting to emerge to build that community. At our most recent, when we were gathering with community, is that we wanted to identify what the priorities from our forums, as well as the priorities of the group that met that night. And you'll see that we touch absolutely almost every one of those elements. But here are our themes that we have been given the mandate to pursue, the common themes for consideration. And those common themes, the first one was, it's hard to believe that we live in an agricultural hub, but food security is definitely one of our top priorities. The other one is water and also housing. So the top three, those are basic needs that we see in our community. Mental health is definitely mental health services and access, as well as education of being inclusive and accessible for people of all ages. The work and income, that we have livable wages for our community and meaningful employment. Energy and transportation access, and then, of course, the networks, social equity and a sense of belonging. And then, of course, the Indigenous relations that we build with the urban Indigenous people as well as those that remain in their areas, which are our neighbors. The ecological priorities definitely focused on water, and we have recently, not recently, but over the years, coal mining, which is at the headwaters of our water source. And so that's just one of the issues that we are aware of. And water is very significant as well as the clean air. So why are we doing this and why is this important? Well, the first thing is to inform the MDP, because the municipal development plan in our community is what drives city council to what their priorities are. And if we've identified these themes and we can validate them with the information, then that's going to be most helpful. So we see it as being a springboard for action related to community priorities. Although we've identified those themes, we want to ensure that we've got the data that supports that. And integrating will strengthen participation locally and rooted in a community portrait with a holistic action oriented focused on donut economics. So that's the reason that we're doing it. But who will be involved? We have community leaders. We've already engaged residents, neighbors, some organizations. We have a community advisory group. We have facilitators that we will be accessing and experts, and also the deal tools to drive it all. So what's next for us? We've held our first community portrait forum. We are in the process of building the team for the community portrait and engaging the identified partners that I shared with you, which is the university, the college, the business community, and many and more. We'll build and enhance the role of the community advisory group and our neighborhood associations. We have 30 neighborhood associations in this city, and we're really looking forward to working with them. Our planning will include the Doughnut Unrolled, the process that has been identified by Rob at the beginning of our session today, consultations, interviews, forums, photo stories, community mapping, all within our neighborhoods, and including our downtown and our industrial neighborhoods as well. We'll definitely apply the 4 lenses and introduce those for analysis as well. So our role now is facilitating those workshops using donut canvases, and we're just in the planning stages of developing the framework for the workshops, and we see the purpose of those is to stimulate discussion, and as we've heard from the previous speakers, assess the strengths and going to where the people are. So this portrait will be used as a springboard and lots of action and follow-up. And I just want to say thank you. This quote by Kate really resonated with me as I was preparing this presentation, and I'd like to close with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. A wonderful presentation, and it's really amazing to see all the priorities that are emerging and the way you're going about it. One of the questions that has come up is the harder topics that can emerge within community. So let's see if I remind myself who was asking the question. Michelle in Montana, USA. I'm curious about addressing harder topics that are shunned by many in the community. I'm learning that the topic of animal welfare in my small town is frequently dismissed by a large number of members, but not all. What's been your experience of addressing these kind of topics? So, Diane, would you be able to reflect on that first?
When I looked at the themes that have emerged from our community forums, there are harder topics. You know, the lack of housing, the lack of affordable housing, our homelessness issues, addictions and mental health, those are hard. Those are hard topics to identify, but also to frame in such a way that how are we going to improve the systems? And it's about the systems. And I think that's where we need to do some focus in our community, for sure, is that when we have a system that anyone that tweaks one part of another system is going to mess you up. And so, being aware of that as we're going through the improvement phase, working in teams to look at those systems.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane.